As far back as I can remember, I dreamt of a normal life. A life filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I've experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. This is my time to share my journey with you. Welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. Hello, and welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. I'm your friendly neighborhood ghost hunter, Justin Brown, and we are presenting episode number 70 this evening. Thank you for joining me. Please feel free to share. I hope you all are doing a good, or having a good night, rather. We're going to be talking about how it's been going in the paranormal research field in my sector, in my neck of the woods. Pretty much the clickbait of the show is, have I lost my way? And we're going to talk about the many directions that I go and the many things I try to juggle and the many things I try to do in my paranormal research. Make it entertaining, make it educational, keep it real, but try to appeal to as many people as possible in an oversaturated social media community and entertainment industry. So that is how I'll introduce the show. We got the girls over here on YouTube and on Facebook. How are you ladies doing? I haven't heard much out of you. You guys have probably been busy, I assume.
I have not been busy. I thought you were busy.
I'm always busy.
I know. I don't want to bother you.
Be quiet, you're bothering me.
Stab him in the face.
So this is the only time you get to talk to me. You get 1 hour. Sometimes 3 hours a week to talk to me.
Sometimes I just call you randomly.
Yeah, but, like I was saying, you haven't called me. So, Jess, you been busy?
I have been. And actually, I thought about earlier today. I was like, oh, I need to call Justin Brown.
I was thinking that too.
Were you? Yeah.
I knew it.
Like you're psychic or something. Here we go.
No, just, it's been a while. So you're kind of thinking in the back of your minds, what's been up, right? So,
yeah.
So we have all kinds of friends in the chat on YouTube, on Facebook. Welcome. We will shout you out here a little bit. We'll give time for people to get on, and we'll get this show on the road. All right, let's do it. It's been a rough grind this season of filming. We're done with principal photography, but the fun begins, or the sarcastic response, that is. It's 12 to 16 hours in front of 3 monitors, actually. Editing, doing social media, constantly updating the website, sending out newsletters all the time, talking to people, getting guests for shows, editing, right? So, review has been the one that's really been just, oh God, let me tell you, it's bad. It's real bad. Someone thought it was a good idea to put face cams on everybody and mic everyone, and oh my God, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy, and I'm just trying to grind it out. But We had the trailer for Madison Seminary out. I've gotten Adam Kimmel's grace. He really, really likes it. A lot of people like it. Old Licking County Jail's been out. Hasn't got a lot of views. A lot of people are busy right now. As the year winds down, a lot of views on YouTube, especially the longer duration videos, don't get as much views. People are just too busy to watch documentaries, to watch, 45-minute to an hour long videos. So I just got to be patient on that. But good news is I just started uploading season 6 to Amazon Direct TV, which is good because it could be extra revenue and more exposure to our work. And speaking of our work, a lot of times, well, I shouldn't say a lot of times, sometimes people come by and they're my type of paranormal investigator, very scientifically oriented, very objective. They take it very seriously. They don't want to seem like they rely on a lot of influence from paranormal pulp culture, and they don't want to be seen as someone who just, is a thrill seeker or learns ghost hunting from TV. So there's some of these people come across my work sometimes and they pull it apart, using the, some of the gadgets we use, using some of the methods that we're using, a lot of it, I try to balance. There's these scales. Use science, use objectivity, trying to do it the right way, and then trying to give the audience what they want, because if you don't, they don't watch. And the bottom line is, I am trying, I am doing filmmaking, photography, graphic design, all that kind of stuff for a living. That's what I'm trying to do. I love the paranormal. I love video making. I love photography. So if I don't get a lot of clients, a lot of times I try to push the production and the promotion of the paranormal stuff I do. I'm constantly doing that unless a big client comes along. I get a good paying gig and I may have to reprioritize what I do, but that hasn't happened lately. So I have to find ways to make this stuff I put out there entertaining. How do I do that? We got to find score, pay for music, find stuff that sounds good but doesn't annoy the hell out of the people that are watching the video. A lot of times it's a subtle balance between what's too much, what's too little, cutting the scenes to keep it going, to keep the pace going so it don't get boring. Because let me tell you, real paranormal research, people would not watch that for entertainment. People would watch that if they wanted to fall asleep. So what do, right? You kind of have to, balance those things. And it really tears at me. I have to listen to people grade my work through a lot of that stuff we put out there. Of course, we put out tutorials, shows like this where I get up on a soapbox and tell people what I think and nitpick everything and, shout from the hills that, this is right, this is wrong, so on and so forth. But it's really hard for someone to just comes across interface desk work and really knows them for who they are. And it, just kind of like the graphic for this show, that it feels like there's just this road sign that's got all these different directions and no straight, course. So it is difficult. The one thing that I have done a lot more of this year that I have not done in the past really is work with psychics. Using psychics, investigating the abilities, experimenting, and trying to research it. Ever since I started working with my mother, taking her to places and taking her to residential cases, I've become more intrigued with it. I have lived most of my adolescent life and all my adult life knowing that the phenomenon is very real. I'm convinced of that. I really don't feel obligated to prove it to somebody, but I would like to show people how I try to further understand how accurate it can be, how they do it, what, all the nitty gritty little nuts and bolts to the whole thing. So now you see Jessica and Missy in the videos doing their thing. And I showcase a lot of that because I feel like it's a thing, but I feel like sometimes it can be wrong, and there's only certain times where it shines. And it depends on the person. It's not just the same with everyone. So you got the human element involved in it, and you got situational elements involved, and it's really, really complicated to make look professional and look legitimate on film, because anybody can come across and say, oh, they're fake. Oh, they knew all this stuff. They did their homework before they walked in, and they're just faking it. And a lot of the comments on some of our top watched videos, that's what they do. So there's really no way to prove to anybody. So there's no use doing that, right? So we don't try to do that. You can, do all blindfold the person, lead them in. They could still cheat, right? It could be all fake. Of course, what we do is not fake. What we want to do is stay as scientific as possible, but that is very limited. The EVP research we do is very science oriented, and that's where most of our science is applied. A lot of our methodologies get thrown out the window when we do our film production, because we're doing things that appeal to a wider audience. The more you narrow your audience, the less you're going to have an audience. So you want to widen it. So what I also try to do is try to make things that aren't so watchable or entertaining. Like, I'm trying to make the educational and the realism of paranormal research interesting enough for people to want to watch it. And that's the hardest thing I could possibly do. One example of that is to allow scenes to play out a little bit longer, slow the pacing down just a little bit. Do not edit, do not jump cut and edit things out. Like, if you are familiar with our videos, once we start with one moment in time, we let it play out and don't cut anything out until there is like an ending, a moment where something's happened and it's ended, and we can transition into something else. And that is what I've been trying to do. When you watch TV and the most watched shows, the most popular shows on major networks, they don't do that at all. They chop the holy crap out of it, and for good reason. It helps keep the pacing quicker, helps move along the narrative and the timing. And it's you got to feel like 10 minutes. It's got to feel like 5 minutes watched. The longer it feels like you've been in the seat watching it, the bad. But you don't want that as a filmmaker and an editor. So if you can imagine, if you're not an editor and you're not a filmmaker and you don't make videos, a lot of this stuff won't occur to you. But if you do, then you can understand how difficult it can be. But, I feel like what we're doing is the best that we can do from what my knowledge pertains. I do listen to feedback, though. When people do come across the videos and say, hey, you should try this, you shouldn't be doing that, I kind of tell them up front, hey, this is why we do it. Some of the things may not be, super duper, like, skeptic scientific. We're trying to get to the bottom of everything and throwing out everything that's malarkey. I try to do that, but it's really hard. It's really hard to not do that. But before I go into a raging rant about all this, hopefully you kind of know where I'm going with this episode. I want to know what you feel, what kind of feedback you can give me. Like, what do you like about the stuff that I've been putting out there? What you don't like about it, what you think I could change and do better, all that stuff. I want to leave it up to you guys, but try to be respectful. Usually you guys are. But if there's some new guy or new girl in here thinking that they're just going to burn it down tonight, I hope that don't happen. But let's do some shout outs. Let's shout out all of our peeps. See who we got in here. I see a lot of people in there.
RU Media, I only have one viewer and they haven't said anything.
Okay.
On the Justin Brown page, I have Josh Bender, I have Sandy Griffith, I have Becky Compton, I have Derek Schreiner, Bill Davis, Jason, I'm not really sure which Jason it was, Joe Vitale, Missy Bryant, Daniel Guerrero.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
And Heather.
And Heather. Don't forget Heather.
I didn't forget Heather.
Heather Knapp, not Heather Elliott, right?
Heather Knapp, right.
Yeah, Heather Elliott, I think, is like working during the show or something. She hardly ever gets to watch.
Okay, on YouTube, we have Betty, Joe Vitale as well, Anaheim, and Cash's Gems. Joe also, he made a comment, I can say what Interface Death does is not fake at all. What Justin says he does, he does.
Work our butts off is what we do. It's all hard work.
And starve us.
That's the
He
last
starves
thing.
us.
That's the last thing that happens when we shoot. It's the last thing that happens. You can tell from all the farting and bowel movement sounds.
Oh. Hey, at Moundsville, we were starving. Come on, Missy, right?
Right.
Sometimes we'll go a stretch and we won't eat till late, but that sometimes happens.
Nelson just jumped on too.
What's up, buddy?
Well, he's like, you got to cut down on the stomach noises. And I'm like, well, then let us eat.
Sometimes if you don't eat, it's almost worse than when you eat.
Right.
I have a question from Betty.
Shoot.
She said, have you guys ever filmed something you worked hard on and then felt like it wasn't much going on? Not much that people will find exciting.
Yes. You constantly have to deal with that all the time. All the time. So what you do, what we try to do with every episode, since we already know that that's usually what to expect going in, is focus on the story, what the narrative is, and what story you're trying to tell in the video. Most of the time it's the history. Sometimes it's the people that are connected with the locations, that have, stories to tell about the location, and the travel to the location and the experience of seeing it for the first time and going through it and, getting the psychic impressions. It's all about the story. We can do a video about a location that we investigated where nothing has happened and still try to make it entertaining. That's what we do. So far, there may have been a few times that, not much happens. Like I remember Rhodes Hotel, not a super lot happened. There was a few little weird voices in there. There was one or two that I really thought was compelling. One was during Jess's walkthrough, and there was one later in the night that I can remember. The anchorage turned out to be really cool because the voices that we did get and the footsteps were really cool. And we did get the meter to validate some cold spots and hot spots at one time. And the jail, that was really centered around Jess's remote view of the place and how it affected her. So you can kind of tell the story dictates how the video is going to turn out. So hopefully that answered it pretty well, I think. Derek says we were locked out of the building. Talking about.
I don't have any idea. Sandy said, when I watch a video and I'm so into it that I forget to breathe, now that's a great video. And that happens every time I watch Interface Death's videos.
Yeah, she says that. That's really getting into it. I have to applaud you on that. You have a gift of really, getting into whatever you're doing. That's cool. Don't die, though. Don't suffocate to death.
Betty says she hasn't seen one of those. They've all been interesting.
Yeah, and the trick is just trying to tell a story. If you hang the success of your video or your film production on the evidence you get, it's going to be bad, because if you don't get anything, you're going to feel like you're going to try to take some questionable things or things that you may think that's already debunkable and put them in your video for the sake of trying to manufacture some type of evidence. And that happens in ghost shows on TV all the time. What Ghost Adventures do, they'll see a freaking dust orb fly in front of the camera and they'll be like, oh, it can't be dust. It's debunked as dust. It's got to be a light anomaly. And everybody knows it's dust. Well, not everybody. There's a lot of people out there that just don't understand how light and optics work. And I don't mean that as an offense, but we keep telling them over and over and they just don't want to listen. So they can believe that if they want. But, the ghost box, they can edit that however they want. They use all these things, to try to get as many false positives as they can to add to the content for the evidence part of it. Oh, the Afterlife
Derek was
Museum.
talking about being locked out of the Sanford Center. Yeah.
That's right. That they were for a little while because the front door locked. The Sanford Center. I told Steve that I'm probably going to have to go back and do pickups and do more investigating before I can release the video that I wanted, because that was one of the craziest. That was one of the craziest investigations I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, our cameras were shutting down. I couldn't do interviews. The batteries in the goddamn the wireless microphones kept dying over and over and over. Me and Jess felt like some strangeness was occurring up in that museum, because I've been there once before and it was nothing like that. So he must be acquiring some things to really get it crazy in there. I don't know.
Tracy has a question on Facebook. She asked, do you feel like people over investigate locations?
Yeah. People, the paranormal community is saturated with people that want to go investigate. So that creates a demand for historical locations and people to go out buy locations that look haunted to provide paranormal enthusiasts, investigators, a place to come and investigate. There's money involved. There's saving historical locations involved. Just think of how many times Waverly Hills has been investigated. It's investigated every day, and if it's not being investigated, there's a haunted attraction going on. So yeah, it gets over investigated. I can't be the authority, and I can't be sure to say whether that will affect if it's haunted or not. Haunted or not. If you go to a place 1,000 times, will it be less haunted? I would have to assume that it would, because it's like the zoo effect. You go into a zoo that's visited every day, the animals are non-responsive to you. They're usually turned away from the glass and looking away. And that's how it's got to be for spirits who can't leave. That's horrible to think about that.
Anaheim says, I try to apply some things on my research from your videos and approaches.
Yeah, he does. We talk a lot, and I really hope that works out for him. And the one story I will talk about, Caesar, is he bought an SLS camera, and soon as he bought it, he stumbled onto our Soapbox show about the SLS camera. So he's been watching. That was the very first episode, I think. So he's been following our stuff for a long time, and he's like, crap, I wish I would have seen this before. And he must have heard me saying, well, I'd never had one to test, so he sent me his. And I had it for a good while. We had it for half the year. And everything about the thing I thought was true was just validated with the thing. There's just so many things that can be false about the readings of it. It's not great to use at all. There's so much better things to use than the SLS camera. But he's built himself an RVPR. A couple people that watches our show has. Nelson has. Caesar has. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else. What's up, Dan? So yeah, he asks me all the time, like, what books should I get? He asks me quite often about stuff, and I'm always happy to tell him what I think. Yeah, bugs can appear as orbs. There's charts now. There's plenty of charts on Google Images that you can look up, and you can make your own charts too. Tracy, go ahead and read Tracy's.
Do you place more credence in the simpler types of equipment?
Well, yeah. The simpler it is, the less likely you can mess up. So I just think that this is the good thumb to follow, the rule of thumb to follow. The less false positives the equipment can create, the better it is. Now, we're always using our senses and they're very subjective. So we try to use the tools, the electronics and the tools that we have at our disposal to try to remove that subjectivity, but we're still looking at it with our subjective minds and senses after the fact. Voice recorders, it's going to record sound. And very rarely it'll record sound that you did not hear. And we've been trying for years to figure out why that is, and that's why the RVPR and other devices have been created. I think a lot of the gadgets with the blinking lights and everything is false positive machines, spirit boxes, RAM pods. A lot of your EMF meters, even the Mel meter is flawed. I mean, that's a really good device, and Gary Galka does a good job, but sometimes it fails you. And you have to realize and know when it's failing you. But a good rule of thumb is trying to correlate and having one piece of anomaly backed up by something else. Okay? Try to do that too. But I like how you're thinking. The simpler things are, the better they are. I do like that. What's up, Anthony? Thanks for joining us. He's going. Where's he going in November? Is it Penhurst?
It was this month.
Was it this month?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
and it was Penhurst.
Yeah, we're going to be going. Something tells me we're going to be going with Anthony somewhere probably next year. He really wants that to happen.
Sandy wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Ovilus?
My thoughts on the Ovilus. She should know what they are. I've talked about it, right? Well, we'll go back to that. It's Paul Browning told me he took it apart, and what it is an accelerometer. And what an accelerometer is if you move it, it will trigger whatever you want to trigger. So if you have a bank of words, dictionary of stored words, this accelerometer will trigger a random generator of those words. So if you move it, something will go off. Its claims are it has sensors inside that detects, subtle variations in temperature and EMF. That is not true. That is not true at all. So the Ovilus is a false positive machine. It will spit out stuff when you're sitting there. Okay, these gadgets are created because you're sitting in a location as nothing's happening. An hour, 2 hours goes by, crickets. That's all you hear. So they're like, oh, I'm going to get out of a spirit box. Oh, I'm going to get out of an Ovilus. They're going to start giving me things. So that's how those devices are created, and that's what gives them worth to people. A real dedicated paranormal researcher, investigator will know that it's going to take years of sitting in that complete quiet location, not getting anything, before they can expect to get something authentic. So if you're sitting in a location and all of a sudden you see a full-blown shadow figure or an apparition right in front of you, you're not going to pull out a spirit box. You're going to try to get that captured on camera. You're going to go down there and try to take environmental readings, try to figure out what it is, where did it go, what could have caused it. You're going to try to debunk it. The last thing you're going to think of is pulling out something, like an Ovilus. Even though some people do that, I don't know why they would. So the Ovilus has just get one and take it apart, and you'll see what it is.
Anthony said Penhurst is December 13th.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
And that just happens to be on a Friday.
Dun, dun, dun.
The Ovilus is sensitive to ultraviolet light. I wonder which one Paul Browning took apart. The different variations in subsets of them, someone should buy every single one of them and take them all apart.
Derek said it spits out words like a baby being fed vegetable baby food.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, I mean, you should not use anything that says something or gives you something that's not anomalous or paranormal. You should not use it at all. At all. That's why we don't sweep with spirit boxes anymore. Something that can come across that, how do you know it's a spirit voice? Well, some people will debate, well, if it answers your question intelligently, that's your proof. Well, it could be a coincidence that it answered you intelligently. So until you can kind of prove some sort of replication. Now, there are things that come across that are super interesting that I've heard. Do not get me wrong. I do believe, let's get on spirit boxes, for example. If EMF is involved with any type of paranormal phenomena, voice phenomena, ITC, whatever, it can come across a spirit box. I have set my recorder in between a FM transmitter and receiver and recorded the waves going through the air on that device. And I feel like you can get something on spirit boxes, but it's so hard to know for sure if you did. So I am trying to develop something to know for sure if you did, but it's on the shelf right now. If you guys have watched the how to validate ITC on the TikTok series that I do, you'll see that monstrosity setup that I put up there, and that is the only way I know how to validate it. But if you're putting out some type of electromagnetic energy, whether it be amplitude modulation or frequency modulation, it can be picked up on a radio. It can be picked up on a speaker. It can be picked up on a coil, okay, hooked up to a speaker. You can do a lot of different things. You just got to find inventive and ingenious ways on how to know whether it is anomalous or not. Here, I thought he said Ovilus 4. I don't know if he's talking about the one that Paul took apart or not. No.
RJ is watching.
What's up, RJ? How's RJ been? Have you been working a lot of hours? How's the new house? I know he takes a lot of really awesome nature photos. I don't know if that's where he lives or if he goes somewhere and takes them. We investigated Bonnie Springs Ranch for years and used simple equipment, laser, thermometer, K2, REM pod, SB7, infrared cameras. But that's it. Sometimes we got something, sometimes we did not. That's how the cookie crumbles. He's working his ass off. That's what I figured. Hopefully he gets to retire sooner rather than later. That's what my mom wants to do. She wants to retire so bad. They increased the age of full retirement. It used to be 65. Now it's 67, right?
Yep.
It's bullshit. I think that's so much bullshit. It's totally unfair. So, what do you girls think? Do you think the direction that we're going is the right one? Do you think? Did we get any feedback at all on if we're doing things good? Should we change anything? What do you girls think?
RJ said 2 more years he gets to retire.
Awesome.
I'm just along for the ride.
Do you think we're doing it the best we can? Do you think we could do it better?
No, I don't. I mean,
I think we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no way that we can always do it better, right? That's my motto. Should I keep my SB11 or sell it? I would keep it. It does have uses. since it has 2 spirit boxes in one, what we do is we play white noise out of both of them, and we record each channel independently. If something comes through one and not the other, then that's a way to try to find an anomaly. But if you don't use it that much, you could definitely sell it. We don't use ours that much. I think there's better ways to spend. You could sell that and buy a MagCheck 95. That's one thing you could do. You can find them on eBay and get a good deal on them.
Seeker James Thomas just jumped on. He said, "Hi guys from Emerald Paranormal here in Ireland."
Nice. Oh, wow. What's Ireland look like this time of year? Is your leaves turning? Does it look like fall? Probably, right? It gets colder quicker over there, right?
Sam Thomas has joined.
Uh-oh, she made it in before we ended it.
She's been in there for a little while, and I hate to do this, but I have to go outside. And I'll explain after the show. I know it sounds bad.
You gotta go outside?
I have to go outside. I have a long list. Yes, I have to go outside.
Okay. But you won't be back?
No. I'll be back. Just give me like 2 minutes. I apologize. A woman is coming very strongly, and I have a long list written down of who she is. So I kind of have to go outside. So
she has to go smoke and figure it out.
No, I'm not even going to do that. I'm good. I just need to go outside.
You better tell us what's coming across, because that's content, man.
Okay, but just give me a second. I gotta go.
Okay. We'll oblige you this time. Okay, so don't go anywhere, folks. Jess is going to come back and tell us that this woman, strange woman.
Tracy said, what can you say? No one is an expert, and you go with what you know and try the best you can. That's what you guys do. Can't find any faults.
Yeah, and you can say that for most people, I think. I think the greatest compliment I can ever get is I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong and keep trying to get better and accept feedback and try different things and keep progressing. I feel like if I'm doing the same thing for year in, year out, it's just like, why am I even doing it? And I think that there's a lot of things that we probably can't answer or explain. But
Bill said she's too embarrassed to say she has to go smack Josh.
No, she would never be too embarrassed to say that or do that.
No, she wouldn't. She would have took the camera then. Seeker James Thomas said colder and wet and darker and spooky. Ha ha ha.
It don't get much spookier than Ireland, right?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. So, Dan says very interested what Jess is feeling. I am too. Jess is crazy. She comes up with some shit. Okay? When she's feeling witchy, it gets weird. Okay? It can get really weird. Like, she'll tell you shit that she's not supposed to know. How the fuck does she know? We don't know. They call it psychic.
Okay, Jess, spill the beans.
Oh, I have to say it on here?
Yeah.
Okay, there's an older woman, and message me. Don't reply in the chat, because I probably have some things to tell you. There's an older woman. I'm unsure. The number 27 kept coming up. I believe it's a date. I don't know if it's a date of her birthday or the day that she passed away. She has dark hair. She's kind of short. Her personality is loud, stern, and she's like almost like a boss lady. But I mean, she will put you in your place. The messages was kind of like no hard feelings. Something like a fight happened before she passed, but she also has a lot of guilt. And she was saying, stop being hard on yourself, and because she's fine. That's all I have for right now. But if you think it's somebody that's connected to you, please message me on Facebook.
Do you do you feel like it's someone watching?
I believe it's somebody that I read a name of who was watching and when it started coming through. So I'm not sure.
Oh, that means you have an idea who it is.
Why do I have an idea who it is?
Because you only read a few names.
No. Well, I'm reading Facebook's names too.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it was just weird because it was pouring in, and my lips are like they're almost bleeding because I was chewing on them.
It's interesting, Val. It started off talking about whether it's kind of like an evaluation of this year. Our paranormal research, what I've been doing. And it just segues and stems off into other things. Jess was picking up on something from maybe somebody in the chat, so she had to go outside. Well, I'm curious why you had to go outside. You had to shake something?
Well, not necessarily. When I can't figure out who it is, and they keep pressuring me. If I go outside and I take a lot of deep breaths, just clean air, outside air, it helps me almost like a reset.
Oh,
sounds weird, but that's what works for me.
Doesn't sound weird at all. Not to me. Yeah, Joe had a question mark there. Maybe you can answer him. Private. Maybe you don't want to. You said you don't want to talk about it on the show.
No. Yeah. If he thinks it's, somebody that he knows, he, message me, or, anybody, just message me and we'll figure out who it's for.
You're going to get spammed later. Spammed. What's up, Sam?
Just no nudie pics.
All nude pics.
No.
So yeah, we're keep on trucking along. I'm reviewing Madison Seminary. You get to see Joe working with us for the first time on our video series, and there was a lot of shots that we got from Madison Seminary. It's going to be really cool. I feel like the voices that I know that we got from the initial review that we got at the time we were there, and then I came home immediately and reviewed them. I did upload a review of some stuff that I knew that we got when we were there early this year, the Madison Seminary Live review we did. And I'm telling you what, the voice that came across when Adam was doing his walkthrough with us was nuts. I'm pretty sure I know what it says, but I have an ear for listening. And a lot of times if you're not used to the audio equipment that someone else is using, and if it's not super loud or super clear, it's hard to tell. So I won't be upset if no one can tell me what or guess what it is, and I agree with it. But we never subtitle our stuff. We never label it and suggest to you what we think it is. I want you to tell me. But what we got in the basement was even crazier. And there's something going on down there. I don't know if it's being imprinted from urban legend, a lot of people's psychokinetic energy imprinting that, or there's actually someone down there that's been killed and buried down there. If you follow anything that's been going on with Madison Seminary, if you watched any of the videos that released, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Anthony said, "Can we do Madison together next year, please?"
Yeah, I'd go back. I'm pretty sure everybody
I'd go back.
Everybody on the team would go back there. The best time to do that is not when it's super hot, though, because that building is super hot in the summer.
Well, and Jessica has to have her phone confiscated when she gets there.
No phone.
So she can actually concentrate and focus on what's going on.
A lot of people have been commenting. I'm sorry. A lot of people's been commenting on the RVPR tutorial I put out. A lot of people said they liked it.
Anaheim wanted to know, will you get Old Licking on DVD later?
It's up, dude. It's on the website.
Kesha says, do you have a preference on what kind of voice recorders you use in investigations? Personally, I think I used to get more EVPs on an old tape deck recorders than digital ones nowadays. LOL.
We use Tascams. We use Zoom. Sometimes we use the smaller ones, but we generally stick to the RVPR setup that we have. I'll bring up a photo for you. Oh, actually, I'll just link our new video. And it'll... Who asked that? Kasha?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll link it on.
Is it Kasha? I call her Kasha. I don't know how to pronounce her name.
I'm guessing.
I'm sorry, honey.
I'm guessing it's Kasha.
I'm throwing it at the hip.
Kasha sounds weird to me, but if it is, I'm sorry. Maybe I just...
Well, I'm sorry because I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Anthony said there's a murder victim down there. I don't think we should say too much about what happened in the basement of Madison Seminary and let them make up their mind when they see the DVD.
We've already released the live review. It's already been out there. So I'm not too concerned about that.
Bill said he's driving to Madison Seminary.
He's driving.
Is he going to blow things up? He's going to blow things up.
All right, Kasha, I'm linking the video that we just uploaded to our YouTube channel about the EVP recorder we use. But the general, what we generally do is we mic everybody up with either wireless mics or wired mics, and we use that to cross-check with the recorders that we use, for ambient recording, or to actually we're trying to get something anomalous to come across, whether it be an RVPR, a Tascam DR40, Tascam 05, DR05, H4n. We use mainly Tascam and Zoom recorders. They sound really, really good. I have my eye on that Zoom F8N that does the 32-bit float. Oh my God. If you want there's this thing called 32-bit float. It's pretty much raw audio recording. If you blow out the audio and it's super loud and you clipped it, you can bring it all the way down and not lose any of the data. And the same thing is on the opposite end of the spectrum. If a little itty bitty voice comes across, you can jack it up loud and not get any hiss or anything. It is the greatest thing ever. Zoom F8N. And there's one, there's a cheaper one that I linked Josh. If you're interested in the 32-bit float devices, email me at justinbrowninterfacedeath.net or on the page that you're watching this. Unless it's RU Media.
We are locked up.
Yeah, we're locked up.
Page, everything.
Why are we locked up? Okay.
There it went.
Sorry. I don't know why. The nature of live streaming. But like I was saying, if you want to check out the 32-bit float audio devices, just get a hold of me. I'll give you links. Uh-oh, it's buffering again.
It is.
No, that's pretty annoying. So, sorry that it's buffering. Do not adjust your sets.
It's like Bill's went through this before.
For the last 3 weeks has done it.
It's probably my freaking internet.
It's kind of back. We're pixelated on this side.
Yeah, we're pixelated. Sorry for the hiccup, guys, but it should come back.
Bill said Joe came back on and sucked up all the bandwidth.
He sucks that big bandwidth, don't he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah, we got Madison Seminary coming out October 31st. Halloween. That's when it's going to come out. If I get it done before then, I'm just going to wait. Because how cool would it be to release it on Halloween? It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. And after that, I'm going to try to see if there's anything to do with the investigation we went and did at the Archive of the Afterlife in Moundsville. And then after that, we have Haunted Hartford City documentary that I get the privilege of reviewing and editing. Boy, oh boy, I've never done one that big before. It's all right, Joe. It's 2019. It's okay if you like to suck large bandwidth. It's totally acceptable. The internet is playing up, guys. Yeah, looks like it's okay now. Looks like it's stabilizing.
Yeah, it's good on YouTube.
On RU Media, it's messed up.
Explain messed up.
Pixelated. I can't see anything, and it's been like that for like 5 minutes now.
Really?
Yep.
Well, let me take a look.
Well,
Maybe it's just
Justin.
you. Maybe it's just you.
It's always just me, Justin.
You are not wrong. Come on, internet. You're not my friend tonight. I want you to be my friend. Just want you to live stream. That's all I want. All right. See if we can get. So, if we're coming to the end of the show, if you have any more questions, if you want to slap me around a little bit, let me know.
I have one.
Good.
Anaheim says, what you guys find better investigating, historical locations or random finds?
We target historical locations and known haunted locations, but we don't purposely just do those. We don't televise or produce any film for residential cases anymore. For the fact that if you do that, then a lot of people will see that you're doing that and try to say that their house is haunted or get your attention so they can get attention and turn their house into a paranormal show. It just happens too many times. And if you usually go, I just don't like exploiting and publicizing people in that way on a normal basis. Now, there's always an exception to that. I can't even get on their page. Is it still bad on our
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks fine to me.
And it just came back.
Did it? Maybe you just needed to refresh it. I don't know. Jessica is very sensitive. Hurt her feelings all the time.
It says Jessica is very sensitive to spirit.
Take that, Justin Brown. You can. I'm just joking. I'm being good.
You have it. Can't hurt my feelings.
How
about September 2020, Justin? Was that when he was wanting to do Madison?
Madison, yep.
We'll see. When we start talking about our next filming schedule for next year, I will remember that you want us to do things. Now, there's a lot of people that I want to investigate with, and it's really sucky that we can't do it with everybody we want to do it with.
Kasha just spoke up. She said, "Yep, Justin pronounced it right. It's short for my name, Nakasha."
That's a cool name.
It is.
It is. Okay, I apologize. I've been pronouncing your name wrong this whole time.
There's a certain location that wants me back only because they want on TV. I'm not happy about that. They want Joe back because they want it to be on TV. Well, I mean, most of your locations want to be on TV because it will drive traffic and notoriety to their location. So you can't blame them. If you yourself want to be on TV, you can't blame somebody else, like a location wanting to be on TV. That's my response to that. Facebook's blowing up. That's good. Sometimes we get through this show without any hiccups. Sometimes the internet likes to fail me because I stream at the highest bit rate I can, and I try to get good quality out there. I need money, people. Give me all your money. I need better internets. I need money. Hopefully I get money soon because it'd be really cool to have the best stream possible, to have the best videos possible. I'm really happy with our video quality this year. I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It takes like 500 years to render a 4K video, but after it's done, it's pretty cool. I just pray to God that the electricity doesn't go out when it's doing that. That would just crush me if that happened. Right at 99% done, and boom, power goes out. That would.
Seeker James Thomas asked if Jessica was still picking up on the spirit of an old lady.
Nope.
No, I'm not. I went outside and I was able to kind of compress it. Yeah. If you want to send me a message on Facebook.
Well, Joe, if we don't get on TV and if you get them on TV, I'm going to be asking you some questions, sir. Yes, I will. You're like, oh, you got them on TV. Where's our TV? We have no TV. You guys are supposed to laugh at my stupid jokes. You're not doing a very good job.
Yeah. Paranormal Reporter said your videos are amazing.
Thanks, man.
He said, don't talk that shit into existence, Justin.
Don't do it. My bad. I should know better, right?
Yeah. Sandy said she loves RL's videos too.
When we love Sandy.
The question is, do we love Sandy more than she loves our videos? I say yes.
I say yes, too.
I say yes.
She's a big supporter, and we appreciate that.
So we have just manufactured competition for love. So now you got to go to every video, like it, share it, and comment on it, just to show that you love our videos more than we love you. See what I did there? Yep, we're gonna. RJ says, too bad we couldn't get your guys out on this side of the world. We have a plethora of locations. I know, man. I know. One of the first places I would hit up would be Virginia City, right? Be that the first place you take us? Or would be the first place you take us out there? Virginia City, right? That's where I'd go first. I got them.
No, it would probably be the ER because I would be dead because I would have had a panic attack and died on a plane.
You can drive. Or we can just give you a lot of Valium and Xanax.
That would have to happen.
I understand not wanting to fly. I really don't want to either, but sometimes it's nicer just to fly because driving for 30, 40 hours sucks. Look at all the love we're getting. Thank you guys. I'm just glad you guys like the videos. It's really nice. We're trying to go places with it. We're trying really hard. We're sweaty filmmakers. I can only speak for myself. I'm sweaty.
No, at the Stanford, at Moundsville, with Steve Hummel, that was sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was. But of course, we were outside for 8 hours.
Oh, that's right.
I sweat at every location. I don't know. Did I sweat more there?
Yeah, I was cold at Rhodes.
Yeah, well, I got out of the car at Rhodes and stepped in a damn puddle and my feet were wet all night.
Okay, RJ, okay. Yeah, that would be interesting too. He's talking about unknown locations. I'm game for whatever. If we can get out there. Eventually, probably after 500 years, we'll run out of locations.
Bill Davis said I'm a licensed aircraft mechanic. I ain't flying on that shit.
Dan says he wants to meet all of us too earlier.
If everyone wants to meet us, go to Gettysburg Battlefield Bash next year. And
Justin might not be there though.
There's a small chance that I won't because my daughter may be going to Myrtle Beach for a softball tournament, and if it's on that same weekend, I'm going to have to pick the softball tournament, and it'll suck, but I'll have fun either way, because if we don't have the softball tournament that weekend, then Christy and the kids are coming with us. And just imagine that.
Secret James Thomas says he'll love to come visit the States, but I would love to go visit Ireland.
Yeah. You're not missing a whole lot, man. Honest. I want to see some like 500-year castles and check out the shores over there where the ocean meets the land. That's I've seen so many photos and drone shots. Just cool over there. The graveyards and the cemeteries are super old. It's a photographer's wet dream out there.
Bill, you said that last year. You said next year, Battlefield Bash. I'm going.
Who did?
Bill Davis.
Liar, liar. Pants on fire.
It's on fire. Guys, what's your view on attachments?
It's a thing. It's not just one thing though. I feel like for me, if something attaches to you, it could be what you're doing or what you're allowing. It could be just what they're trying to do to you. It could be psychological. So it depends on what's going on. It's complex. I think they're very easy for me to take care of. But for some people, it seems like it isn't easy for them to deal with. And that's interesting to me. I've never ran into a situation where I couldn't help someone with an attachment or something that they felt was attachment. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. I mean, I haven't run into anything like that personally, but I think how you explained it was well. That's my beliefs on it too.
Okay.
I agree.
Don't cheat. Say something different. It's not going to.
Step on a Lego, Justin.
No, I don't need to do any more of that. You guys should check out Auschwitz. Yeah, there's a lot of places we should check out over there, man. You gonna PayPal me the money for plane tickets and shit? God, that would be expensive to go over there and do that. Oh, I would love to though. It's probably one of the top prisons. It's completely surrounded by water, so you would think that the theory involving paranormal activity being amplified by water would apply there. And the history and all the known shenanigans that went on there should, be a recipe for paranormal shenanigans, right? So I would definitely check it out. I would definitely check that place out. That would be somewhere where I'd like to lock Jess, leave her, stick a camera in her face. It'd be fun. For me, not her.
Yeah, for you.
I'm sitting there editing the footage like, oh my God, yes, Jesus loves me. She's over there.
Kirsty Brown.
Kirsty, she's like, I thought you guys were supposed to be off. It's 9:06. What are you guys doing? Hey, Christy, can you get me more coffee?
Have you guys ever gone to another state for an investigation?
All the time.
Yeah, we're in 3 different states, so usually 2 people are traveling out of state.
Yep, that automatically makes people like leave the state when none of us live in the same state.
Bill said Christy's on the Hot Buckets must be done.
I went William Shatner. I'm going to have to rewatch this episode and figure out what I did so I can replicate that.
She said bedtime.
Is it bedtime?
That's what she said.
Well, Josh is live, so I'm going to get off here. I want to watch Josh's show. Josh Bender's live with Detroit Paranormal Expedition. So we're going to wrap it up. Girls, thanks for helping out. You did great. Thank you guys for joining me. You guys made me feel a little bit better about what I'm doing. I'm just trying to provide content for you guys, trying to be open and transparent with you all, and keep grinding. I'm just going to keep grinding until you tell me to stop. So my heart goes out to you guys. Let's go to the links. If you don't know them, there they are. They're in the video description. Interfacedeath.net is definitely one of the links I want you to go to. If you haven't checked out our website, please check that out. Patreon is how you can support us financially, whether it's $1 a month. I'll tell you what, if everybody that watched our stuff and supported it pledged $1 a month on Patreon or donated $1 a month on PayPal, we could do anything. We could afford everything we wanted to do, go to the places, and provide you with the best stuff we possibly could. We could take you along with us with all the cool live streaming equipment and everything. So you get rewarded for everything you pledge on Patreon. So definitely check that out. If you're a Facebook person, join us at UPS. We talk about everything paranormal. It's not just ghosts, UFOs, cryptozoology, everything. Give me a join request and I'll accept it. And that's where I want to leave it. Love you guys. You're in my heart. No necromancer this week. Next week, who do we have? We'll look real quick. We have, I think it's, yes, Patrick Cross. Really cool guy. Met him at Gettysburg this year. We're going to have Patrick on next week, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Soapbox next week. Patreons, I'll let you vote on a topic for Soapbox next week. And stick around for video promotions if you want to watch them. If you have not seen them, the new trailer for Madison Seminary is going to be playing. If you have not seen that, stick around for that. Until next time, guys, have a good night. Do you have that drive? That morbid curiosity to explore the darkness? Do you have what it takes to brave the night? You do? Good.
Welcome to Ground Zero. This is the talk of the talk. You know, everybody is captivated by this area. This is what I call the asylum. When I first purchased the place, it wasn't hard to know that this has been whitewashed. Everybody has their sort of the boogeyman. When you're young and growing up, be good, the boogeyman's gonna get you. Well, you wanna know what the boogeyman in Madison is? It's this place. You grew up here and you acted up in front of your parents, you get sent here. Now that sends a red flag. If this was a nice facility and everyone's being taken care of, why are you gonna send them here? Something was happening behind these walls.
On Saturday, November 30th, take your journey into the supernatural into one of Ohio's most wicked jails. Built in 1889, the old Licking County Jail was home to its fair share of dangerous inmates, leading to 14 inmate deaths as well as 4 sheriffs. These violent deaths inevitably led to the closure of the jail in 1987. Join us for a night of history and an overnight ghost hunt you'll never forget. Your journey awaits.
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the World Wide Web of Weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.